Italia.
Brindisi is a city in southern Italy forming a natural port and trading hub on the Adriatic Sea. It has an absolute ton of history and culture tied to it, which this video will try and cover as much as possible in little detail. The city is said to have been founded by the Greek hero Diomedes, but was originally a Messapian settlement. The name comes from the Latin Brindisium, which in turn comes from the Greek word Bratesion, which in turn comes from the Messapian word Brunda, which means deer's head, referring to the natural shape of the harbour. The deer still appears on the coat of arms of Brindisi today. In the 3rd century BC, the Romans conquered Brindisi and it became a Latin colony. During the Punic Wars between the Roman Republic and Carthage, Brindisi became a major centre for the Roman naval power and maritime trade. In the 1st century BCE, Caesar's Roman Empire attacked it, and later the Treaty of Brindisium was signed, which formed an alliance with them. Under the Romans, Brindisi was a major city and acted as a gateway to Greece and the Eastern world. There were even 2 direct roads connecting it to Rome, one of which survives today. During the 4th century CE, the pagan cult of Tarantismo resided in Brindisi. It was believed by them that women who showed signs of hysteria had been bitten by a tarantula, the only cure for which was dancing the taranto for days at a time, to the music of tambourine, fiddle, mandolin, guitar, and accordion. In the 5th and 6th century CE, Brindisi was then conquered again, first by the Ostrogoths, then by the Byzantine Empire. In the 7th century, it was destroyed by the Lombards, but was quickly rebuilt. In the 9th century, it was home to a neighborhood of Saracens, and then in the 10th century, it was conquered by the Normans, becoming part of the Principality of Taranto and the Duchy of Apulia. During the years of the Crusades, the city was incorporated back into the Episcopal See, meaning that Brindisi's jurisdiction was now under the church. This was the start of a significant religious influence on Brindisi. A new cathedral and castle were built, and it became a privileged port for the Holy Land. Prince Roger III of Sicily was married in Brindisi Cathedral, and Emperor Frederick II, heir to the crown of Jerusalem, started the 6th Crusade from Brindisi in the 13th century. For a short time after, Brindisi fell under Venetian rule, but was soon conquered by the Spanish crown. In the 14th century, plague devastated the population, as well as suffering mass plundering and an earthquake. In the early 18th century, Brindisi fell to Austrian rule, then after under Bourbon rule. In the 1940s, Brindisi was the seat of the government of Italy and hosted King Victor Emmanuel III. In 2012, Brindisi suffered a terror attack when a bomb exploded outside of a school. Finally, today Brindisi is home to the San Marco Marine Brigade Regiment and is the provincial capital. Brindisi's public library houses thousands of rare manuscripts and ancient texts, and the Archaeological Museum houses items from many of the ages mentioned before. Interestingly, Brindisi has never been associated with theatre and music and has only recently started establishing amateur musical and theatrical institutions. Also interestingly, Italians make up 3/4 of the tourists that visit. When it comes to food, Brindisi is known for simplistic recipes, including the use of unrefined barley flour. Brindisi cheese is mostly sheep, and unlike other regions of Italy, vegetables are the main ingredient in Brindisian cuisine. Pasta is also darker in the region, owing to the use of unrefined flour, and almonds tend to show up more often than other places. Brindisi also sits in a major wine-producing region. If you want to visit Brindisi, you can get to it by international airport, national rail, or by sea. Summer temperatures can get up into the 40s in Celsius, and during autumn strong winds will occasionally bring with it red sand from the Sahara. Se ti è piaciuto questo video, perché non guarda questo, o premi la testa rossa per vedere l'intera libreria.